What is the point? What is their real intention? And I can't help but wonder, what is the real intent of Senator Bato de la Rosa? Kung itong investigasyon na to ay nangyayari sa nakarang administrasyon, ano kaya nangyayari ngayon? Parang merong kakulangan ng paggalang sa pagkatao ng ating Pangulo, pati ngayon kino-question, malinaw naman lumalabas sa press na negative siya. Bakit natin pinagpipilitan? Nananawagan ako sa aking kaibigan, Senator Bato de la Rosa. Maybe you should focus your energy on more productive and matters that really concern our citizens in the country.
Senator Miggs is coming out, no, as I've heard from our colleagues. But I believe this is the best opportunity for the Senate leadership to come out in the open and call a spade and put order within the nation. It's unfolding that there is no proper vetting of who will be given that microphone. Yes, the precious time of Senate is being dragged kasi nga maraming ang kailangang ipasa. Pero hindi lang yun eh. Andun yung power na binigay sa atin na temporary, na dapat nating pangalagaan, na hindi natin pwedeng gamitin para siraan yung iba unless there is really a clear basis. Again, with our power comes responsibility. With that responsibility is to make sure that the voice of the people at the legislative power will not be used by some interested parties. It's not about the president. It's not about actors or actresses and prominent people. Paano na yung iba? Na kung walang-walang laban, kaya lang hindi sila makalapit sa isang senador at may lumapit doon at nanira ng ibang tao that will push them down to mental jeopardy. So we as legislators should be responsible to filter real, accurate witnesses.
Habol ko lang po, do you think po na put in question yung leadership ng Senate on how they handle yung PDEA leaks investigation?
On my part, hindi naman siguro because Senator Miggs is coming out, no, as I've heard from our colleagues. But I believe this is the best opportunity for the Senate leadership to come out in the open and call a spade and put order within the Senate.
We acknowledge the presence of House Committee on Women and Gender Equality Chairperson and Bataan 1st District Representative Geraldine P. Roman. Thank you for joining us, ma'am.
Good morning, everyone.
Dun sa leadership na, well, Senate President Miggs has several times made a comment na about being cautious about it now. But at the same time, he said that he also respects the committee system of the Senate. So I don't think it's really an issue on leadership, but rather siguro intent or purpose of the continued hearings on the PDEA leaks. I think that's where we should question kung ano ba talaga ang gusto nilang maabot.
May I add? Yes.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
We recognize the independence of the legislative branch of government. We are co-equal with the executive. And we do not question the prerogative of the Senate if they want to conduct an investigative inquiry, no? But let us be reminded that these these investigations have a sole purpose of trying to improve legislation. So, as my colleague said, what is the point? What is their real intention? When I view things, how they are conducting this inquiry, and I look back at the past administration, I can't help but wonder, what is the real intent of Senator Bato de la Rosa? I would like to think that he would like to improve in legislation, no? But I also ask myself, it's inevitable, it's in the mind of everyone. Kung itong investigasyon na to ay nangyayari sa nakarang administrasyon, ano kaya nangyayari ngayon? Parang merong kakulangan ng paggalang sa pagkatao ng ating Pangulo. Pati ngayon kino-question, malinaw naman lumalabas sa press na negative siya. Bakit natin pinagpipilitan? So, nananawagan ako sa aking kaibigan, Senator Bato de la Rosa, maybe you should focus your energy on more productive and matters that really concern our citizens in the country. Katulad nga mamaya, siguro mapag-uusapan din natin yung ating rights clarification law, yung anti-discrimination na bill based on sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression, and so many other legislative measures that are more pressing and more urgent, no? So, para sa akin, it's a waste of time, really.
Thank you. Okay. Next question from Haji Camino of Brigada News.
Good morning po mga Kongs. Question na po regarding the rise, speaking of the amendments to RTL, especially kay Kong Mika siguro. Yesterday po nag-start na yung plenary debates regarding the amendments to the rice tarification law. So far, ano po yung masasabi ninyo sa naging proseso nung pagtatanong at saka yung mga na-come up po doon? And masusunod po ba sa palagay ninyo yung timetable, yung pagpasa sa second reading and probably by next week yung up to third reading nung panukala? And ano po kaya yung magiging chances? What are the chances na may papasa po ito sa inyong counterpart sa Senate, given that some of these senators ay may agam-agam at parang tumututol po no, sa amendments to RTL?
Thank you po. With regards po to how the procedures went yesterday, actually, medyo feeling po namin, medyo bugbog pa yung katawan ko ngayon. 4 hours po kami tumayo ni Chair Mark at ni Kong Stella sa plenaryo kahapon para po i-field lahat po ng questions sa mga interpellators. So, in terms of the discussions po, I believe in my sponsorship speech, I requested our colleagues to start like a very fruitful and productive discussion, and I think we were able to accomplish that. We opened the floor to everyone who wanted to interpellate. So kahapon po we had 4 interpellators and several of them maxed out the 1 hour that was given to them to interpellate. So talaga pong bago po namin close kahapon yung period of sponsorship and debate, sinigurado po namin na lahat ng gustong magsalita, lahat ng gustong magtanong, lahat ng merong proposals, proposed amendments na gusto pong ilatag ay nabigyan po namin ng pagkakataon na magsalita. At yun po, we are currently working on the amendments kasi po pagkatapos kahapon ng period of sponsorship and debate, this afternoon we're going to start the period of amendments, and we're incorporating several of the inputs from the different interpellators yesterday in crafting the amendments for this afternoon. So yun po, para po sa amin, extensive po yung deliberasyon, hindi lang po sa plenaryo. Mahalaga po na i-share ko po na siguro po inabot kami 4 na araw yung hearings namin, on average mga 7 to 8 hours per day. So lahat po ng stakeholders, lahat bukod po sa mga congressman, bukod po sa mga government agencies, binuksan din po namin yung oportunidad sa mga stakeholders, sa mga farmer groups, sa mga traders, sa mga warehousing, lahat po binuksan po namin yung floor para po makapagsalita sila. So, yun po, para po sa amin, nung isinata po namin yung period of sponsorship and debate, siguro po nagkaroon na kami ng higit 20 oras na ibinigay sa lahat ng mga stakeholders na gusto pong makapagsalita. With regard po to the timeline, we're actually very much on track. Ang amin pong ipinangako, yung tulad po na sinabi ni Chair Mark din kahapon nung nagsalita siya sa press conference, ang target po namin ay ma-aprubahan po on second reading ngayong araw yung bill natin, amending the rice tarification law. And ngayon po is period of sponsorship and debate. So hopefully either by today or by tomorrow, maaprubahan na po natin sa plenaryo on second reading. And then thereafter, next week po, maaprubahan natin on third reading bago po mag-sinidye break yung Kongreso. Patungkol po dun sa huli niyong tanong, ano po yung chance na maaprubahan po ito sa Senado? In terms of the timeline, we're hoping na kapag na-certify po ito na ating presidente as urgent, that would give them better flexibility in terms of their timelines in the Senate. So, ngayon po, based on my understanding, the last time we checked, wala pang deliberations on the committee level on the part of the Senate. But based on what we know, there are several legislators who are coming up with their proposal with regards to the bill. So, hopefully po, meron na pong maisalang sa Senado. Siguro po, ang masasabi din po namin sa aming mga kaibigan sa Senado, we very extensively worked on crafting the version of the House. We would like to invite our dear colleagues in the Senate to please look at the provisions that we've crafted on the part of the House. I know several of them po, tulad po na sinabi nyo, may agam-agam, may initial concerns, but we've sought to address most of the concerns raised by the stakeholders in our extensive deliberation. So sana po, dito po sa version na inilatag po namin sa plenaryo, sana po tignan po nila ng maigi yung mga provision. At kung ano man yung agam-agam nila, sana po na-address po namin yon in the latest version of the bill. And we're very, very hopeful because once the President certifies this measure as urgent, kahit po next week, kaya po nila yun maipasa dire-diretso. Hopefully, if mag-start po sa ng committee hearings this week, ma-second and third reading po nila next week. So, we're still very, very hopeful on the part of the House. Again, our Speaker Martin Romualdez and President Bongbong Marcos echoed the call that this is a very, very urgent measure. Initially nga po, we were even looking at a June timeline in terms of enacting this into law because right now, as per our definition in the current bill, we are in a food security emergency because we have 3 parameters: shortage in the supply of rice. So, sa awa po ng Diyos, hindi naman tayo doon nagkakaproblema. Pero doon po sa parameters natin na sustained increase in price, in the retail prices of rice, doon po tayo pumapasok ngayon. At yun nga po yung objective ng ating Pangulo, ng ating Speaker. Kaya po sinasabi nila na urgent measure ito dahil napakataas ang presyo ng bigas sa merkado. Wala po ngayong pagkakataon yung pinakamahihirap ng mga pamilyang Pilipino na makakuha ng access sa mas murang bigas. Kaya yun po, sana again, as principal author of the measure, I appeal to our friends in the Senate to please expedite the passage of this measure, of this very, very urgent and important measure. Because at the end of the day po, our primary objective is twofold. One is to mabigyan po natin ng access yung mga pinakamahirap na mga pamilyang Pilipino sa mas murang bigas. At pangalawa po ay matulungan natin yung ating mga magsasaka na mapababa yung cost of production nila. So we seek to increase the productivity of our local rice sector dahil gusto din po nating itaas yung rice self-sufficiency natin. Yun lang po. Maraming salamat po.
May I add? Matagal nang iniintay ng ating mga magsasaka at ng sambayang Pilipino ang pag-amyenda ng Rice Tarification Law. Maganda po ang hangarin ng Rice Tarification Law. It is to empower our farmers and to make them competitive, Pero kung iikot po kayo sa ating bansa, at alam ko ito rin ang sentimiento ng aking mga kasamaan dito sa House of Representatives because we are in direct engagement with our constituents and we get to talk to farmers almost on a weekly basis. Hindi po sila sang-ayon sa present version ng Rice Tarification Law. And this is the reason kung bakit mula po sa Komite ng Agrikultura at sa panghihikayat na rin po ng ating Pangulo at ng ating House Speaker, ay tinabaho po ng maigi na mga kasamahan ko dito sa Kongreso ang pagpasa nitong rice tarification law. The problem is, of course, food stability and pagtaas ng presyo ng bigas. At tinutugunan natin to by empowering the NFA, giving it the authority to purchase rice para ma-boost ng kanyang buffer stock, to prevent scarcity or in certain cases na merong pagtaas ng presyo ng bigas. And also the increase dun sa RCEP to 15 billion, makakatulong yan, pero kulang pa nga rin eh. Baby steps, kailangan siguro planuhin din natin kung paano natin to trickle down tong RCEP to make it more systematic. Maybe we should have macroeconomic planning para to prevent yung oversupply ng mga crops, katulad ng ginagawa ng mga ibang bansa sa Europe, sa States. Pinaplano nila, o dapat ganito karaming crops, ganitong karaming at saka pinaplano nila yung timeline to prevent scarcity and pagtaas ng presyo. And of course, pagdating sa mechanization, alam nyo, itong competitiveness is very important eh. Sabi sa akin, sabi lang naman sa akin ng mga farmers na nakakausap ko, ma'am, kasi ang problema, binuksan ka agad ng merkado sa imported rice bago kami ginagawang competitive. Baliktad. Dapat, gawin mo munang competitive ang ating mga magsasaka bago mo buksan ang ating merkado sa imported rice. Kasi ang baba ng cost of production sa ibang bansa, pero sa atin ang taas. So how can you be competitive? Palugi na lang. Of course, NFA, this is the reason kung bakit ang inyong lingkod, I also filed a bill, no, that will enable the NFA to purchase drying machines para hindi tayo forever with this excuse na ang taas ng moisture content kaya hindi na binibili, no? But in this case, yung milled rice mabibili na nila. So sa ating mga kaibigan sa Senado, I know you can find it in your hearts. Lagi naman ganitong mensahe natin mula sa House of Representatives. Let's walk the talk. Ito si Kong Janet Garinel, lagi ang in-engagement sa mga farmers sa Iloilo. Pag nakakausap ko yung mga ibang farmers, pag nagdadalaw ako sa area ninyo, kilala nila na in touch tayo with reality eh. So, maybe our friends in the Senate would listen. And I'm confident that the chairperson of the Committee on Agriculture will find it also in her heart. No? Sa Senado, si Jacinta Villar, I know she's a good person. She has compassion in her heart. And this would be a very, very good legacy for all the farmers. Lahat naman ng bagay na improve sa mundo eh, di ba? Hindi naman como naipasa na natin itong RTL 1 version, hindi na natin kayang improve. We can work on it. It's a work in progress as we discover the situation, as we listen to the farmers, mahalaga yan. At pag pinakinggan ninyo, mga mahal namin mga senador, ang ating magsasaka, maniwala kayo, nagkakaisa sa kanilang tinig na dapat baguhin itong rice tarification law at ginagawa na po namin sa House. So, the ball is on your side of the court upang tugunan ang malawakang pananawagan ng ating mga magsasaka na baguhin itong rice tarification law at empower sila. Let's walk the talk. Nakakasawa na kasi, di ba? Lagi na lang sinasabi, the proverbial, ito nga ating mga magsasaka sila naglalagay ng pagkain sa pagkainan ng ating mga pamilyang Pilipino. Mahalaga sila, but show the love.
If I may add lang po, to our friends in the Senate, kung ano man po yung mga agam-agam nyo, whatever your questions are, ako po at si Chair Mark as authors of this measure and Kong Stella, bukas po ang aming telepono, bukas po lahat ng communication channels. If there's something that we can address to help you quell the concerns that you have with regards to the measure, please reach out to us. I keep on saying please, kasi po this bill, apart from being a priority of the administration, is of utmost personal importance to me. I have dedicated several years of my life in the study of the rice tarification law. It was my master's thesis in Harvard University. So, talaga pong ilang taon na ng buhay ko yung ginugol ko po para po sa measure na ito. Kaya siguro po, I hope that also serves as an assurance to our friends in the Senate that this House version has been studied very, very extensively. At tulad nga po ng sinabi ni Kong Geraldine, this was born out of our interactions with the farmers. So when we did our study, for me personally, prior to filing this bill, I did field work. As in, I interviewed over 400 farmers from different parts of the country just to understand yung current plight nila. Ano po yung problema nila sa current version ng RCEP, effective ba to sa kanila on a personal standpoint, even to the point of granularity. Ito bang mechanization program, nararamdaman nyo, yung seed program, yung training, at yung credit. At lahat po ng mga natutunan namin mula po sa lahat ng mga panayam na ginawa namin sa mga magsasaka ay naka-incorporate na po sa bill na ito. So, yun lang po. To our friends in the Senate, our communication lines are open. Please reach out if there's any way that we could help to also help you expedite the passage of this measure. Please do let us know. Maraming salamat po.